Hey, it's Big Ben's Movie Show. Back again. I'm your host, Big Ben, and we've got a lot of cool things going on this week. First things first, I believe last week I told you we'd have Don Ashby. We don't have Don Ashby. He'll be here next week. Then I was going to get you guys Germ Leather. Something happened. We couldn't do the Germ Leather thing. But I brought back the guy that we all know and love. It's Trevor. He's back again.
Always here.
Always here.
Available for
Always
some
here.
reason.
Always in the wings.
Yep.
So yeah. So Trevor, thanks for coming back. We watched two movies this week that I think we're going to have very different opinions about, but let's go ahead and get it started. The first one we watched is Hardcore Henry, an entire movie shot in first-person shooter style like Doom or Call of Duty game. Let's check out the trailer. Here we go.
Hello, Henry. Do you remember how you got here? This next part might hurt. Squeeze? You and I were, we still are, husband and wife. I love you, Henry.
Henry, they want your technology.
How do you like the new you?
The chute! Pull the chute! Hold on, Henry! Henry, fight back! You're capable of more than you think!
It's all right. I'm here to help you. There's a speech module installed, but at least we know you're not deaf. Okay, well, the good news is that you're going to live a while. The bad news is there's an army standing between you and your wife. So let's go get her.
Tonight, I'm gonna have myself a real good time. I feel alive.
Woo! This is war, baby!
'Cause I'm having a good time, having a good time. Shooting star leaping through the sky. Like a tiger, defying the law of gravity. Racing car, passing by like Lady Sliver. I'm gonna go. There's no stopping me. Running through the sky, yeah. 200 degrees, that's why they call me Mr. Fahrenheit. I'm traveling at the speed of light. I wanna make a supersonic man out of you.
You gonna lay there,
Don't stop me, don't stop me. Hey.
swallow that blood in your mouth? Or you gonna stand up and go spill theirs?
So we both saw this. We both lived through watching that.
We lived it, Ben.
yeah.
It was first person.
I
We
kind of
lived
felt like
it.
at the end of it that me and the other people in the audience would all kind of like join together in like a hug. Like, we got through this, guys. We did it. And we'd all like, have this like shared experience for our lives, this trauma that we went through. Trevor, what did you think of the movie?
It was bad. It was quite bad. I will say I enjoyed the first-person experience.
Okay.
And some of the action. It worked better than I've seen other try to do the first person.
Yeah.
I thought it worked well with that. I was enjoying it. I
Because
got into that
they're not
part.
the first ones that have done this. Other
No.
movies have done it for a small stretch.
Yes.
Doom, of course, was famously...
I saw recently Brothers Grimsby.
Brothers Grimsby
for
did a
little
version of
bit,
it.
yeah.
Yep.
But this one, I thought it didn't bother me. You could tell what was happening for the most part. And so I thought it was cool. I liked it. It felt tense. Everything else, though, was terrible.
Yeah.
It's like the experience is cool, but the movie is terrible.
And that's what almost most of the reviews out there are saying also, is that and a handful, about half the people really liked the first-person shooter thing. Some people didn't like it. Some people got sick. My dad was one of those people, and he got up and left the theater, and he couldn't handle it. It was just too much. He can play a video game, but when he's not the one controlling the character, it made him really kind of sick. So, but like Trevor said, the first-person shooter thing, whether you like it or not, that's the gimmick. That's the reason you're seeing it. The story, they really just seemed to phone it in. There was two really big things that I was curious about in terms of like, how is this happening? And one was, I'm sure you saw a bit of it there in the trailer, Charlton Copley from District 9 and Elysium and a couple other great movies, keeps showing up as different versions of himself throughout the movie. And for the longest time I was like, well, how does he do that? That gets explained quite nicely, and I was happy. The other thing that happens is that the bad guy has telekinetic powers. This does not get explained, and it's kind of a big deal. It's kind of a big deal of, one person in this entire universe, as far as we know, has powers. No explanation. No explanation given, apparently none needed. He also doesn't really use the powers very well.
No.
No.
My issue wasn't so much, I don't always need to have a complete story because maybe the main character doesn't find out, and that's fine because we're following the main character, so I don't care. But yeah, we didn't understand how they worked. Like sometimes he could like do very little and it would strain him, and then he could just do a bunch of crazy stuff.
He'd throw a guy against a wall and get a nosebleed.
Then he'd lift up a bunch of people
and then he lifts 30 people up in the room and everybody's flying and he's fine. He's
pretty
good.
fine.
He's chill.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of just dumb, silly stuff. I will say, as a fan of violent movies, and I like violent movies, there is a lot of kind of really cool stuff in this. Most of it you actually just saw in the trailer. There's some more gruesome, gory stuff in the movie.
Yeah.
But
went a little far, I think, at some point.
yeah, the
chase,
chase,
that's unnecessary.
the little chase scene when they're on the road, parts of that looked amazing. Parts of it where they drive a motorcycle through the back of a van and somehow out the front of the van, as the front of the van has either fallen off or exploded, or
I think they just
who
phase.
cares?
They just phase through.
Yeah,
it.
who cares?
If you go fast enough, you phase through it. It's like the Flash.
That part was a little dumb. And then the throwing the grenade into the van and then it explodes. At one point, the guy takes a shot from a tank too, and doesn't even he gets knocked out when people punch him, but a tank shot, he just keeps running.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was some very inconsistent things going on action-wise, but that's not what it was about. It wasn't about being consistent. It wasn't about having a good story.
Or good acting.
Or good, there was some terrible acting. The bad guy especially.
Yeah, he was
He seemed to not want to make eye contact with any of the other characters.
He's like looking at the ground it's sort of this.
Yeah. And he's doing maybe a Swedish accent?
I think it's supposed to be Russian.
I really don't think it's supposed to be Russian.
They're in Russia. Every other bad guy in it is supposed to be Russian.
No, the girl wasn't.
They call them Russian. No, she wasn't. But they call, I think the Jimmy guy calls the other the other bad guys, refers to them as Russian.
Well, the other bad guys are Russians.
Yeah.
But the head bad guy...
You don't think he's Russian either?
I don't think that's a Russian accent.
I thought he was supposed to be Russian.
I've heard many Russian accents. That wasn't it.
Well, I don't know what it's supposed to be.
It's Hardcore Henry. Go ahead and skip it unless you're a hardcore video game nerd, and then have fun. Next movie that we watched this week was The Boss, starring Melissa McCarthy and Kristen Bell. Let's go ahead and take a look at the trailer.
My name is Michelle Darnell, and I am the wealthiest woman in America. How wealthy am I? I wanted to come down on a golden phoenix, and I sure as shit did it.
I run your operation. Well, being a single mom, I deserve a pay raise.
You have a child?
Yeah.
Was that through intercourse?
Yes.
I usually get kind of an asexual vibe.
I never pictured her with genitals myself.
You're under arrest for insider trading.
Michelle, don't struggle. Son of a bitch.
You're bankrupt. All your accounts have been frozen.
Claire, get me a new lawyer.
You don't have any money, you stupid ginger!
Mom, if she doesn't have anywhere to go, she should stay here.
Ha! Look at that. A bed and a sofa.
Careful, it's a bit temperamental.
It's not so bad. Oh, I think I shattered my pelvis.
Michelle, you need to get off the couch. Take Rachel to her dandelions meeting.
Our troop came in with $189,000.
Holy shit.
I object to parolees attending our meetings.
If you don't get off my back, I'm gonna shove a box of chocolate clusters up that tight ass of yours.
What is all this?
This is my way back. We are gonna start a brownie empire and teach these girls real business skills. We want some good recruits. Get in there, go for the aggressive girls.
I feel kind of sweaty and scared.
It's just the coffee kicking in. Oh, you know what? Oh, I may have switched them. I put a little splash of bourbon in mine. My name is is Michelle Darnell, and this is my partner. And I don't mean partner like girl on girl stuff.
What's girl on girl stuff?
Something you're gonna dabble with in college, but not stick with,
Let's not,
you know?
Don't tell her.
Unless you're Hannah. I think it's gonna fit you like a glove.
Don't call it a comeback.
Okay, Crystal, what do we say if somebody doesn't want to buy?
Buy my brownies or I'll kill you.
Don't say that, Crystal.
Hey, this is where dandelions sell.
Bitch.
Ooh, that batch is burnt. That sweater just says, I give up.
You're making me feel very insecure right before my date. Don't.
If you could hear these sad basset hounds, they'd be saying, Claire, put us above
That's
your
not what my
waist.
boobs sound like.
Please don't zip me up in your jeans. Let me see this. Claire, it's like Geppetto.
Okay, and that is the boss. We kind of had some differing opinions on this. I'm going to let Trevor go first and tell you what he thought.
I didn't really like it. It's weird because I think there are some jokes that I'm like, oh, that's a good concept, but I didn't laugh. I didn't find myself finding it funny. It was sort of, I think they were just, the writing, the way it was written at certain points, it could have been funny, but they wrote it in a way that wasn't funny. That's where I found it. And I found some bits a little bit funny, but for the most part, I didn't like it. I think the best parts are also in the trailer. Even though I didn't always laugh at them, I thought those are the big laugh.
Well, with the exception of the villain.
Yes.
The villain's not in the trailer at all.
Well, that's the best part of the movie.
Peter Dinklage is in this movie, folks.
You didn't even know.
You don't even know. Peter Dinklage is in this movie as a samurai.
He's a
You didn't
samurai.
even know.
You don't even know.
You didn't even know.
Don't even know.
And he's kind of the best part of the whole movie.
He really is.
Yeah.
Even though I felt like some of the lines, I think it's sort of pacing like the way it was edited too, of you have a line, but there's a lot of space before it and after it to the point where it's not awkward, it's just this weird middle space of what's happening right now.
Yeah, a lot of the interactions with him and Melissa McCarthy were just a little bit off. I did like this, but I will agree with Trevor. There's really nothing new going on here. This is very kind of similar to a lot of movies we've already seen. But in saying that, I still think it does a good job of being that movie. It's for most people that go see it, especially for the audience that I was at, they left. We all howled. We all screamed at a whole bunch of stuff. Basically, this movie is Melissa McCarthy behaving badly. She's swearing a lot. She's being extremely aggressive. You see bits and pieces of that. That gets cranked up to 10 in the movie. With a lot more swearing.
I will say this: I really liked the end bit. A lot of the heist stuff. That was the best part. I did really like that stuff, and that's about it. Yeah,
that was fun. Tyler Labine is in that as the kind of the male love interest, and then Kristen Bell, who you've seen in the preview trailer too. She's quite good in this. She's pretty much good.
Person.
She's a normal person. She's Kristen Bell. She's good in everything. Like in everything I see her in, I'm just like, oh hey, it's Kristen Bell. I like Kristen Bell. And it's she doesn't have to do a whole lot. She's just good. She's just solidly good in everything she does. So I thought this one was really funny. I can see Trevor's point though, especially in terms of some of the insensitivities that this movie displays, and there's a lot of them. There's quite a bit of them as he's brought up. So
I only brought up one.
Only one to this. When we've talked, he's no. Yeah, it was because when I think about that scene, I can think about a couple other ones.
More. Yeah, you can't.
Yeah, there's a lot of jokes where someone being gay is the punchline of the joke.
Yeah.
Which is it's in this day and age we probably are to the point where we should be moving past jokes like that, where just calling someone gay or calling someone a lesbian shouldn't be a joke in and of itself, especially if that person is a child who might be having feelings and questions about life, and you've just like scarred them forever. So maybe time to move past from stuff like that. But even saying that and knowing what else is in the movie, I still find a lot of it funny and a lot of it worked for me. So I'm going to give it a yay. Probably about a 7. I'd give it a 7.
I'll give it a 4. It's meh.
Oof.
It's meh.
Oof. That's a 4.
What do you want, a 5? I can give it a 5.
Hardcore Henry was a 2.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not saying. I'm definitely.
I don't know. Yeah, no, it has its moments, but overall, it's
generic.
It's something that's been done before. All right, moving on. We're done with the movies now. Time for our little mini segment in between. This week we're going to be looking at the worst movie of all time. Now everybody has their opinion on what the worst movie of all time is. Some people will tell you it's Plan 9 from Outer Space. Another one I've heard is Monos, Hands of Fate. To me, the worst movie of all time is The Room. This is I mentioned Tommy Wiseau earlier. This is his main project that he's known for. He wrote and directed this movie and I believe produced it and starred in it. And it is, minute for minute, the most terrible thing I've ever seen in my life. When I watch it myself, I have to frequently pause it just to stop and laugh and scream at the television that I'm watching it on. So I'm going to give you a quick little taste of it. You're going to be able to see part of how terrible this movie is, and then you can judge for yourself. Let's go ahead and run the clip.
I did not hit her. It's not true. It's bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, hey, Johnny, what's up?
I have a problem with Lisa. She said that I hit her.
What? Well, did you?
No, it's not true. Don't even ask. What's new with you?
Well, I'm just sitting up here thinking, you know? I got a question for you.
Yeah.
You think girls like to cheat like guys do?
What makes you say that?
I don't know. I'm just thinking.
I don't have to worry about that because Lisa's loyal to me.
Yeah, man, you never know. People are very strange these days. I used to know a girl. She had a dozen guys. One of them found out about it, beat her up so bad she ended up in a hospital on Guerrero Street.
What a story, Mark.
Yeah, you can say that again.
I'm so happy I have you as my best friend, and I love Lisa so much.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you are very lucky.
Well, maybe you should have a girl, Mark.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe I have one already. I don't know yet.
Well, what happened? Remember Betty? That's her name?
Betty?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't see each other anymore. You know, she wasn't any good in bed. She was beautiful, but we had too many arguments.
That's too bad. My Lisa's great when I can get it.
Oh, man, I just can't figure women out. Sometimes they're just too smart. Sometimes they're flat out stupid. Other times they're just evil.
It seems to me like you're an expert, Mark.
No, definitely not an expert, Johnny.
What's bothering you, Mark?
Nothing, man.
Do you have some secrets?
Forget it.
Why don't you tell
Why?
me? Come
Forget
on.
it, dude.
Is it some secret?
No,
Tell me.
forget it.
Come
I'll
on.
talk to you later.
Well, whatever.
Whew! Did you make it through? Did you survive? Because that's The Room. So the whole movie is basically like that, where none of the performances seem to make sense. Tommy Wiseau is the gentleman with the long hair. All of his deliveries seem to be made by someone who doesn't understand what's going on, and he wrote it. So I was just talking to Trevor. It sounds like every time that he's about to hear a line, they separate him from the other actor, let the bearded guy give his line, and then bring him back in and be like, okay, just guess at what he said and do your line.
His character's confused, Ben.
His character's
that's part of his character. You don't understand.
So this movie is so legendarily bad that it now travels the country, being shown at theaters and letting people scream and squawk at it and tell people how terrible it is. And then Tommy Wiseau at the end gets up and actually answers questions about how terrible it is. He's actually started doing a thing where he tells people it's on purpose. Yeah. He's like, no, I meant to do it. It's a comedy, obviously. And no, it is not. It is not obviously a comedy.
Also, James Franco is now making a movie.
He's making a movie about
how this got made.
About how this got made. Yes. Yeah. No, because the bearded guy in it, his name is Greg. He then after the movie went out and wrote a book called The Disaster Artist, that is all about the story of how this terrible movie happened, and it's incredible. It's just this one long story of all these terrible ideas and terrible attempts. The audio didn't work, which is why they had to re-record all the audio you're seeing, which is why none of it quite matches up with anybody's lips. It's wonderful and amazing, and I can't wait to see James Franco's movie about it.
Wiseau's going to be in it.
Wiseau is going to be in the movie.
It's part of his contract to allow them to make it. He
has to be in the movie.
So that's going to be fun.
Whew! That's going to be a fun one. If you get the chance, go ahead and I believe it's available on iTunes and a couple other places. Go ahead and give it a watch. It's worth it. If you like bad movies, if you like movies that are bad, this is kind of the king of them. It is just atrocious. So go ahead and watch that and enjoy. Moving right along, time for Suck Not Suck. Here we go. Number 1, Charlize Theron has been cast in Fast and Furious 8, possibly as the villain.
Cool.
Now, where do you stand on the Fast and Furious movies?
I've seen one of them.
Which one?
6.
6. Okay.
6.
And according to the people, that was one of the good ones. So.
No, it wasn't.
No, you
I
didn't like
it.
it.
It's not my style. It's like a bad movie. It's like meant to be bad. It's purposely bad.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
It's all about the action and the fast cars, and that's really the whole point of the whole movie.
I don't care about that.
So
Ben.
yeah, and if you don't care about those things,
I don't care about that.
It's really not about building strong characters and story and helping us escape our dreary lives. Unless you like just cars that go fast and stuff.
Isn't that mostly what it is? Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
I don't want that.
I think that's a good idea because she's great and she's usually great and stuff. I think she'll elevate the franchise. So I'm going to say not suck.
She's great, but should I say? Do you want me to say if the movie will suck?
If the movie will suck.
The movie will suck.
I think it's going to not suck. So number 2, moving right along, Universal is rebooting all their monster franchises and they're starting with The Mummy. Famous for killing the career of Brendan Fraser, now it's going to be starring Tom Cruise. We'll see if we can ruin his career too. But the big thing about these movies is this is actually going to be the start of them kind of doing like Marvel, like DC is doing, and creating a shared universe.
Yeah.
Where The Mummy will have the same, maybe a couple of the same characters as the Wolfman and Dracula and
you think
so on and so forth.
I don't know. Are they doing sort of the Marvel method of one at a time?
It sounds like they are, yeah.
I think that's what I heard was they're doing one at a time. I have a hard time with this because they've tried doing this multiple times already of their monster universes, and they're all actiony. I think this is still trying to be action-packed.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going to say it's going to suck.
In today's world where some of these movies can be good, we've seen it. I mean, Avengers and other movies like that where they do the action-packed summer blockbuster and they actually make them kind of interesting too.
Don't make it some superhero. Don't use the superhero thing. Do your own thing.
No, their thing won't be superheroes. Their thing will be Tom Cruise knife hand running from monsters. Anyway, I think it's going to suck too. Moving on, number 3, Zack Snyder says that there is not a hard plan for a Superman film in the works, that if they find a script, they'll take it. This isn't necessarily this is like the lack of the movie.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
Is the lack of the movie going to suck? Do you think they should do a movie?
Well, based on what happens in Batman v Superman, no. But I also think they should take...
Why? What happens, Trevor? Spoil the movie. What happens?
I don't want to hit this. I'm going to say I think one will come eventually. And I think I want to see the other heroes, so I don't think I'm actually fine with this because I just wish they did this for Batman as well.
Because it would delay...
I don't need any Batman
It would delay Justice League getting done if they did a solo Superman movie. That's your point.
Well, not just that. I mean all the other heroes.
That too,
It would delay all the... I want to see these other characters. We've seen Batman and Superman
you could have them...
a
They
lot.
could be working on Superman and Wonder Woman and Aquaman all at the same time.
I know, but the thing is they already have a pretty full schedule. You're adding a lot to how many movies come out in a year from just DC in the Warner Brothers studio.
True.
So I think they would have to push them back. You're seeing Marvel pushing movies back now, and I got upset about that.
Yeah.
So I would get upset
I was a little
again.
bummed about that too. And I, for one, part of me feels like with Batman vs. Superman just coming out, strike while the iron's hot. We're already seeing them do that. They've booked a date here in a couple of years that looks like it's probably going to end up being a solo Batman movie. I think a solo Superman movie would be a good idea, especially right now where the hype is at this crazy high level. Well, it's at a low because of the reviews. But I think here's my thought. If you got Zack Snyder off of the project and you brought in, kind of like Marvel does, one of the hot young directors that has a lot of steam going, I think that'd be cool. Kind of like the way that Marvel built up Thor and built up Captain America with their own movies.
Those movies were great.
But they helped build. They helped build the...
They didn't for me.
Number 1 opening ever in the world.
I liked Avengers. I didn't like those other movies very much. And they did nothing.
Okay. All right, moving on. Number 4. Netflix is making a movie about the National Lampoon, the magazine that then becomes National Lampoon's Vacation, National Lampoon's Animal House, all those great movies.
Those movies.
And, well, actually, there was quite a few more. In fact, they're still making National Lampoon's movies.
Really?
A lot of the American Pie movies are coming from National Lampoon. Yeah. So it's National Lampoon still makes movies. They're usually fairly cheap, quick comedy movies. Van Wilder was a National Lampoon movie. Yeah, he just keeps making faces. So, but the big news is, though, casting-wise, Joel McHale has been cast to play Chevy Chase in the movie. They've also cast John Belushi and Harold Ramis and a couple, Bill Murray, but they cast him with people that you probably haven't heard of, so I didn't bring up those names. But interesting casting there, Joel McHale as Chevy Chase, because these two know each other. Joel McHale was on Community with Chevy Chase, and famously, maybe unfamously, they did not get along. If you want to go check it out, you can look up some of the stuff out there where Chevy Chase was fairly rude to most of the members of the cast and left a very terrible voicemail on the show creator Dan Harmon's phone.
I did not know this.
Oh yeah, it's bad.
I heard about stuff. I heard stuff occurred, but I didn't really look for it.
Yeah,
and
just
find out what it was.
Random racism, random cruelty, random. I mean, it's. You can go look it up. There's interviews they did with the Paley Center and a whole bunch of other places where they talk about it.
Delightful.
It's amazing. What do you think, Joel McHale's Chevy Chase? Does that mean that National Lampoon movie is going to suck?
Who's making this movie? Is it National Lampoon?
It's part of the National Lampoon people, yeah. But it's more of a biopic than a comedy movie.
All right, then I'm gonna say not set.
Rapper 50 Cent says that he's probably going to be cast in the new Predator movie.
Oh.
So would you like to see the Predator kill 50 Cent?
Well, that's just mean. I wouldn't want to see that. I don't want to see anyone die, Ben.
Oh, it's the Predator movies, though. I mean, maybe one lives. That's how that works.
I want to go in and feel like a loss when someone dies. I don't want to go in and be like, yeah,
I want to care about 50 Cent's character.
Fitty.
Come on, Fitty, you can do it.
I want to,
No.
I want him to make me care. Make me care, 50. I want to care about you.
Look at him. You think he's going to make you care about anything except from like vitamin water? Come on.
Maybe.
No. Yeah.
Make me cry too.
Here's the thing. I know a lot of other stuff about that Predator movie that makes me think it's not going to suck. The fact that it's being written and directed by Shane Black, who did Iron Man 3 and wrote all the Lethal Weapon movies back in the day. Nice Guys, which is coming out here in another month, which looks really good. So on those points of it, I think that Predator movie is going to be good. I think 50 Cent's probably going to suck in it because he's 50 Cent.
I mean, I don't know if those movies were ever really based on great acting.
Thanks so much for watching. Go to do a quick couple of plugs here. If you have questions, if you have a comment, or if you want to be a guest host like Trevor, go ahead and email the show. The email is bigbms@zoho.com. If you like me and want to hear more of what I have to say or what Trevor has to say, you can check us out on our podcast. It's called Geek Wars. You can find that out on iTunes and wherever podcasts are found. Or you can send us an email there at geekwarspodcast@gmail.com. Trevor, you got anything you want to plug?
You can follow me on Twitter, the Twitter things. Tweet at me and stuff at Daclus, D-A-C-L-U-S.
Okay. All right, next week, my guest host is going to be Don Ashby. I promise. Okay. Next week, it'll be Don Ashby. We'll be looking at Barbershop 3, I've been told. It's Barbershop 3. I thought it was 2. Apparently, this is the 3rd. So that means it's better. We're also going to be looking at Criminal, starring Kevin Costner. And on Return of the Kid Correspondent, Cassie Waddell. We're going to be looking at Disney's new Jungle Book live-action movie. I'm actually really excited for that one. That's it for this show. Check out That's That after the show and all the other great programs here on BCAC. Good night.
Night.
I'm gonna do me, baby. Straight to the top. I got chunks of guys like you in my stool.